Clara, a 12-year-old black girl in a starched apron, slipped through the grand ballroom of the Atherton Hotel, invisible among the world's top linguists. They were buzzing over a stone tablet on a massive screen, its strange symbols stumping even the sharpest minds. Dr. Alastair Finch, a towering polyglot with a silver mane and an ego to match, scoffed at his colleagues' confusion. "It's a pre-Embryon isolate, obviously," he declared, like he'd already cracked it. But Clara, balancing her tray of teacups, froze. Those symbols weren't just scribbles. They were her grandfather's stories, whispered to her on quiet summer nights. Her heart raced. She knew those words. Her mom, Helen, a black maid who'd taught her to stay unseen in white-tiled hallways and glittering rooms, hissed, "Clara, don't stare. Back to the kitchen." But Clara's eyes stayed glued to the screen. The symbols sang to her. Colleen Tor Vanel Normath. Not a map, like Finch thought, but a poem. Where the river sleeps, the mountain dreams. Her grandfather, Captain Samuel Miller, called it the tongue of the silent mountains, a secret language from a forgotten war. Helen tugged her away, fear in her eyes. "This isn't our world, sweetie." Clara wanted to argue, but obeyed, her small hands trembling around the tray. Back in the ballroom, tension crackled. Finch's confidence was crumbling. The keynote was an hour away, and his revolutionary translation was a mess. He paced, snapping at Dr. Thorne and Professor Vance, who suggested the symbols might tie to wartime codes. Finch laughed it off. "Battlefield jargon? Please." Then his gaze landed on Clara, still lingering, her face lit with quiet certainty. Sensing a chance to deflect, he strode over, voice dripping with mockery. "Well, look here, the serving girl's got an opinion. Care to enlighten us, child?" The room snickered and Clara's cheeks burned. She was alone. Her mom was in the kitchen. Humiliation stung, but her grandfather's voice echoed. "Words are all we have, little sparrow. Protect them." She took a shaky breath, looked past Finch's sneer, and said, "You're reading it wrong." The ballroom went dead silent. Finch's smirk froze. "What?" he stammered. Clara's voice steadied. "It's not a map. It's a poem." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Helen, just back with a tray of pastries, froze in horror. Professor Vance stepped forward, kind but curious. "A poem? How do you know, dear?" Before Clara could answer, Finch barked a laugh. "Absurd! She's overheard us and thinks she's a scholar." But Vance held up a hand. "Let her speak, Alastair." Clara's hands shook, but she thought of her grandfather, a war hero who'd carried this language home from the Ilyusian Islands. "Colleen means the spirit of water, not river," she said. "Tor is to sleep, like potential waiting. Normath isn't mountain, it's the soul of stone, dreaming of the past." The room exhaled as her words turned gibberish into poetry. Where the spirit of water sleeps, the soul of stone dreams. Finch paled. His grand theories were unraveling, exposed by a kid. Mr. Davenport, the symposium's big-shot funder, stepped in. "Young lady, come with us." In a quiet conference room, with Helen gripping her hand, Clara explained. "My grandpa, Samuel Miller, taught me. He learned it from an elder in the war. It was their code, unbreakable, because no one knew it existed." Professor Vance's eyes lit up. "Samuel Miller? The ghost of the Ilyusir campaign?" She explained his unit used this language to outsmart enemies, its metaphors hiding messages in plain sight. The tablet wasn't ancient. It was a soldier's memorial from the 1940s. They brought up the tablet scan, and Clara translated line by line. "To the one who finds this, let these words be my witness," she began, her voice carrying the weight of lost soldiers. "The winter took our fire, but not our spirit." She painted a vivid picture, an avalanche called a snow lion, shrapnel as a shining fang. Each line was a tribute to men like Sergeant Peters and Corporal Chun, their deaths woven into nature's imagery. The final words hit hardest. Tell my family I walk in the silent mountains where the rivers of memory sleep. Samuel, who listens to the sparrows. Helen sobbed, her father's name, her daughter's nickname.
Professor Vance gasped, tears falling. One name, Corporal Elias Vance, was her grandfather, lost in 1943. Clara had given her a piece of her own history. Even Finch, lurking by the door, was silent, his arrogance shattered. "It's beautiful," he muttered, a quiet surrender. Davenport declared Clara the keynote speaker. The crowd deserved to hear her. At the lectern, Clara faced a packed ballroom, cameras flashing. She didn't talk linguistics. She told her grandfather's story. How his unit, a ragtag band of soldiers, learned a secret language from an Illusion elder. How it became their shield, their bond. They weren't just soldiers, they were kinteri, those who stand between the village and the howling wind. She read the tablet's poems for each fallen man, their lives vivid in her words. The audience was spellbound, reporters scribbling, Finch humbled in the shadows. When she finished, silence held. Then applause erupted. Professor Vance first, then the whole room. It wasn't just for Clara. It was for Samuel and his brothers, finally heard. 6 months later, Clara worked at the National Archives, decoding files with the Miller Stone as her guide. The Samuel Miller Grant, co-chaired with Vance, funded projects to save dying languages. Clara wasn't invisible anymore. She was the black girl who'd given history a voice. Wow, what a ride, right? Clara's story grabs you by the heart and doesn't let go. A kid taking on the world's brainiest and winning with nothing but courage and her grandpa's words. I'm still floored thinking about it. Where are you watching from today? Drop it in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Hit like, subscribe, and let me know what hit you hardest about Clara's journey. Got feedback? I read it all, so fire away. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you in the next one.